The most dangerous thing you can do for your family is play it safe. Safety is a myth sold to you by people who want you to stay compliant. I just read a story about a couple who did everything right and ended up 2 days away from homelessness. Think about that. Today I'm telling you why you need to start digging your well before you're thirsty. Today we're talking about the proactive pivot, right? How to build a second income stream that acts as a fortress when the traditional system fails you. Hey, I'm Isai Rodriguez, and this is the Home Business Hustle. If you're a dad who's tired of being successful on paper but broke on time, then you're in the right place. We don't do the guru hype here. We don't do the laptop on the beach, fairy tale. We just do the work that actually works. So let's get into it. So yeah, I was scrolling through a community, one of those community groups online the other night, and I saw a post that hit me like a gut punch. Right? It was from a guy who sounded just like any of us. Right? He had a fiance. They both had jobs. Right? They were building a life, or they were starting to build a life, and then boom, right out of nowhere, both of them got laid off at the same exact time. No warning, no, no thanks for your service, none of that, right? Just all they heard was, hey, pack up your things, you're out, your job has been eliminated, and it's a sad story without a doubt. They managed to scrape together enough money for 2 weeks in a hotel, right? But that money actually runs out next Wednesday. And get this, he, the husband, or the male in the relationship, he was on the community board, literally begging for anything: house cleaning, power washing, yard work, you name it, right? He goes, I'm willing to do anything to stay off the streets, right? That is the exact scenario that we're all trying to avoid, right? But the reality is that most people see that, they see that and they think, man, that's so sad. I hope they get help. That's it. They view it as a tragedy. Me, I view it as I see it as a warning, right? That to me is a warning, right? That couple didn't fail because they were lazy. They were both working good jobs, right? Doing everything they were supposed to do, right? Everything. They had the job. They had doing they're doing what essentially what society told them would make everything okay at the end of the day, right? And they failed because they trusted the system that has a system that has no loyalty to them, right? They waited for the crisis to happen before they started looking for a way out. And by then, it's too late, right? Here's what we can learn from this experience, right? Or that scenario. If you put yourself in their shoes, thinking about you can learn a lot from other people's mistakes, right? There's actually a saying or a quote about that, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't remember off the top of my head. But we have to stop reacting to life and start building it, right? That right there, that's the proactive action mindset, right? If you're waiting for the layoff to start your business, then you've already lost the game. You're already out of it, right? You already have an L in the loss column, or a 1, however you want to look at it, right? You can't build a fortress while the bombs are already falling, right? You need to build before the war starts, okay? So here are the 4 pillars of what I call the proactive fortress, right? So first is you have to be aware of the 14-day cliff, right? We like to think that we're secure because we have a salary, right? Salary. But a salary is just the bribe that they give you to forget your dreams, right? If that salary disappears, most of us are 14 to 30 days away from the same post that guy wrote, right? That to being in that same situation. The moment that you realize how thin the ice really is, that's the moment that you find your motivation. Don't fear the layoff, right? Don't fear it. Understand it. Know that it most likely can and will be coming. So instead, prepare for it. Prepare for it so it becomes a minor setback instead of a life-ending event, right? The second thing, number two, dig your well before you're thirsty. That's what we've been talking about recently. Building a business, yeah, it takes time. It takes mistakes. It takes failures, zigzags, ups, downs. It takes learning, if you will, right? And you can't learn how to build a funnel while you're wondering where your kids are going to sleep for the next week, right? It's not going to happen. Panic is a terrible business partner, right? You need to build your residual royalty right now while you still have the luxury of that paycheck, because it is a luxury, right? Use their money to build your freedom. Every hour that you put in after the kids are in bed is another brick. Think of it that way, another brick in a wall that protects your family from the Wednesday that couple is facing in the next couple of days or so, right? Keep that in mind. Number three, discipline over motivation. Listen, motivation is what you feel after watching a video like this, if anything, right? It's a spark, okay? It gets you going, yes, but it's gone tomorrow, right? It's fleeting. It's here 1 minute and it's gone the next. Discipline is what makes you sit down and do the work when you're tired. It's what gets you into action. It's what keeps you motivated to go when you don't want to go, right? And success is built on small, boring, daily choices. All these decisions. It's choosing the 1 hour sprint over that Netflix binge, right? It's choosing to be an economic architect instead of a linear earner, right? Looking for that paycheck or waiting for it. The guy in that story, like he's willing to do anything now because he has to, right? He has no other choice. You need to be willing to do something now because you chose to. Are you with me? Next, number four, is the power of margin. You need to understand, like, we aren't just building for money, right? That's not the point. Yes, that's a good outcome because money allows you a lot of options, right? Money is not bad, but we're building for margin, financial margin, time margin, emotional resilience, all that stuff. That's those are the important things that we're building towards. When you have a second stream of income, even if it's it's small at first, it changes your posture at work. Suddenly you're not a hostage anymore, right? You're essentially a volunteer, right? You're at work because you want to be there, right? Not because you have to be there. You don't have to be there when you have that second income, right? And if Wednesday comes and the layoff happens, well, who cares? I wouldn't care. You don't have to head to a community board to beg for scraps, essentially, right? Hey, no offense to that guy. Probably, if I had no other choice, I would most likely do the same thing, right? But when you build ahead of time, when you build that well before you're thirsty, you don't have to worry about things like that. You just turn up the volume on the system that you're already building, right? It's literally that simple, right? As you're building, you focus 110%. I'm curious. Drop a comment below and let me know, does the thought of a 14-day cliff scare you, right? That knowledge of, if something were to happen at my job, I have X amount of days to live, survive or whatever before, stuff starts heading off a cliff. Or is that you, or does it fire you up to do the work, right? Let's be honest about it. Because here's what I know, okay? The story of that couple is a wake-up call for every working dad, right? For you, for me, for everyone, right? Don't feel sorry for them, okay? Yes, feel empathy. I mean, that's terrible to lose your job. Yes, but that's not what I'm saying. let them be let it be the reason that you finally take this thing seriously, right? So you have a choice right now, right? You can stay comfortable and hope that the ice doesn't break from underneath you if you're crossing that river, or you can start digging your well today, right? And as my business coach says, okay, the best time to build a business was 5 years ago, right? The second best time is tonight, right now, right? Don't wait for your own Wednesday to arrive. Don't do it. Get into action today, right now, all right? Okay, my friends, that's all for today. Remember, information without execution is just a hobby. And you didn't click on this video because you needed another hobby, right? You clicked because you're ready to build something that lasts. Maybe outlasts you. So go hug your kids, then go and do the work, all right? But first, don't forget to hit the link in the description for your free guide, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care now. Let's get to work. Bye.